So my friend Joe Rogan yesterday, or a couple of days ago, he had on Sagar Enjeti and Crystal Ball. They are the hosts of Breaking Points, which is a political podcast, which is fun listen. It's interesting, worth to listen. Crystal Ball was doing a full-scale defense of Ilhan Omar being a raging Jew hater. And Joe Rogan, being Joe, was riffing. And as he was riffing, he just sort of dumped out a idea about Jews that is, at the very least, not good. Because I'm friends with Joe, I'm going to chalk this up to Joe just riffing. There are a couple of ways to interpret what he is saying right here. Suffice it to say that the meme that Jews are into money, like disproportionately into money, like Jews love the money, that is anti-Semitic. Okay, if you say Jews love money more than other people love money, I'm going to need some evidence on that score, number one. Number two, it is, in fact, an anti-Jewish statement to suggest that Jews have a particular love for the mullah because they are corrupt or terrible or whatever. That all ties into. So here was the bit that went viral yesterday from Joe's show.
Next to Ilhan Omar, where she's apologizing for talking about it's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah.
Which is just about money. She's talking about money.
She shouldn't have apologized.
That's not an
it.
anti-Semitic statement. I don't think that is. It's about Benjamins or money. You know, the idea that Jewish people are not into money is ridiculous.
Listen.
That's like saying Italians aren't into pizza. It's stupid.
Listen.
Okay, so there are a couple ways to read that, right? One is the anti-Semitic way, which is Jews are disproportionately into money, right? And the Italians are into pizza, like Italians are disproportionately into pizza, Jews are into money, or Italians invented pizza, Jews invented money. Like the Jews are in control of world finance. That's one way to read it. The other way to read that is that what he is saying is that Jews like money like everybody else likes money. Italians like pizza like everybody else likes pizza. Okay, that is one way to read it. I'll leave it up to you which one you think is more accurate. However, to pretend that that's actually what Ilhan Omar was saying is not true, okay? Ilhan Omar, when she said it's all about the Benjamins, she was specifically referring to American support for Israel, and the suggestion was that AIPAC was paying members of Congress using Jew money in order to get people to support Israel. That was the suggestion from the All About the Benjamins tweet. Okay, so this obviously has gone viral. I know Joe well. Joe is not an anti-Semite. That statement is not good. And, I assume that if I called Joe up, he would say that he meant the second thing, not the first thing. That's what I will assume from that, because again, I know Joe. Okay, other things that I hate. So there's been this story about a Twitch star who apparently was now her face was essentially grafted onto AI pornography. So as a not fan of pornography, as a person who thinks that pornography is one of the scourges of Western public life, I have a lot of sympathy for this person. So her name is QT Cinderella, that's what she calls herself. Her real name is Blair. And she was a victim of deepfake porn. So people pasted her face onto a pre-existing adult video to make it look like she was appearing in the pornography. And people were making fun of her because she was emotional about this. Here is what she sounded like.
If you are able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually, they're not benefiting, they're not selling it, they're not platforming it themselves. If you are able to look at that, you are the problem. You see women as an object. You should not be okay doing that. And it should not be a part of my job to have to pay money to get this stuff taken down. It should not be part of my job to be harassed, to see pictures of me nude spread around. It should not be something that is found on the internet. It shouldn't be. That shouldn't be a part of my job. And the fact that it is exhausting. And the person that made that website, I'm going to sue you. This is what it looks like to feel violated. This is what it looks like to feel taken advantage of.
Okay, so people are making fun of her. I saw some on the right, some on the left, people making fun of her. My sympathies are all with her. Yes, she was exploited. Yes, she was violated. Yes, there is something deeply wrong with taking a person's face and posting it on another person's naked body and then pretending that that person engaged in pornography. But there is something that our culture refuses to say here, and that is that pornography is bad. It is bad for the person who is actively consenting to the pornography. It's bad for the person who is utilizing the pornography. It's bad for the person like this person who is caught apparently in the crossfire having nothing to do with pornography. But you can say it is bad for people to make pornography and to consume pornography. It's okay to say that. On a moral level, it is a bad thing. Pornography is not a net positive for society. It is not a net neutral for society. It teaches men to treat women as sex objects. Obviously, this is the case. And whether women consent to it or not, it is still wrong, by the way. It's particularly wrong for her because, as she says, I didn't even consent to be part of this, and now you're treating me as a sex object by pasting my face onto nudes of somebody else. And she's totally right about that. But we can also add that even if she had consented to it, which she did not, it would still be wrong. It is bad for the soul. Human beings are not supposed to see each other that way ideally, which is why we used to confine sexual activity to marriage and commitment and love, and now we no longer do. And the wages of that are an incredibly destructive culture that catches innocent people, like this person, in the crossfire. Well, the internet can be a perverse hellhole, but the reality is that the internet can also be your best friend. This is why we love the internet. So, for example, it is via the internet that you can preserve your family memories. This is what I've done via Legacy Box. A Legacy Box is great. What do? Well, go out in your garage. In your garage, you'll find a bunch of old film reels. You'll find a bunch of old pictures that are kind of moldering out there. Bugs are getting into them and stuff. You got cobwebs on them. You have the old VHS tapes, but you don't have a VCR. Take all that stuff. You put it in a Legacy Box. You send it off to my friends at Legacy Box, and they send it back to you in digitized form. Legacy Box is a simple, safe way to digitize your treasured videotapes, film reels, and photos. Everything is done by hand right here in the United States. You send in your old media. Their team will send everything back on a thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Don't let those photos continue to fade. Visit legacybox.com/Shapiro. Take advantage of an exclusive discount for my listeners. That's legacybox.com/Shapiro for that exclusive offer. I've done this, I believe, twice for my parents. I did it for my own family as well. Again, it's a wonderful gift that you can give to somebody because you've got all these old photo albums, all these old film. What are you doing with them? They're just sitting out there. You're never looking at them again unless you can reactivate all those memories. That's what Legacy Box does for you. It's a fantastic service. Go to legacybox.com/Shapiro for that exclusive offer. Well, folks, imagine that some of your employees are the people who are victimizing people like QT Cinderella, or that they are viewing that sort of stuff on their work computer. This might provide an HR problem for you. So when you start a business, you don't think about HR too much, and then you get sued, and then you think about HR an awful lot. Well, you could prevent all of that by heading on over to Bambi. Bambi will give you access to your own dedicated HR manager. This person is available to you by phone, email, and real-time chat. They'll help you run employee onboardings, terminations, and performance reviews. With Bambi's HR autopilot feature, you can automate important HR practices like setting policies, employee training, and feedback procedures as well. All of Bambi's HR managers are based in the United States and can support the nuances across all 50 states. HR managers can easily cost $80,000 per year, but Bambi starts at just $99 per month. Schedule your free conversation today. See how much Bambi can take off your plate. Go to Bambi.com right now. Type Ben Shapiro under podcast when you sign up. It's spelled BAMBEE.com. Bambi.com. Type in Ben Shapiro. It helps them so they know that we referred you. It helps us because they know that we referred you. And again, you're doing the HR work that you need to do. Head on over to Bambi.com and get started today. Finally, we get to the conclusion of his speech. And the conclusion of his speech, this great unifying president, so unifying, so bipartisan, is you hit Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer, didn't you? It was you. Now, you may have thought that it was some weird, homeless, drunk guy who was a career nudist, high on drugs. And you may have thought, well, isn't the problem there that there's a huge crime and drug problem in Nancy Pelosi's city? Wrong you are. It was you. I don't know if you have an alibi for that night. I don't know what you thought you were having dinner with your kids, putting them to bed, maybe doing a little bit of work, sitting on TV, watching some TV with the wife, sitting on the couch, watching some TV with the wife. Yeah, that's what you thought you were doing that night. In actuality, you were breaking into Nancy Pelosi's home and hitting Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. You. Yes, you. And the reason you were doing it is because you voted for Trump, didn't you? You Trump voters, you MAGA, maggot, MAGA, mooga, MAGA, super, ultra, MAGA, duper, super, pooper, scooper, MAGA. It was you. You took a ball-peen hammer, you smashed old Paul directly in the ground. Like, what is this? What is this? So he gets to the end of the speech. And after being like, I'm bipartisan, we all work together to spend more money than God has ever created, because that's the United States and the soul of America, and no. And he finishes up by explaining that you, yes, you, Bill, I'm talking to you right now, 'twas thee who smashed Paul Pelosi in the head. Oh, God, here we go.
The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie assailed and unleashed a political violence, the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up.
So you thought you had nothing to do with that, and then it was a crazy guy high on drugs who hit Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. It turns out it was you. And also, it was Donald Trump. Does Donald Trump actually have an alibi for that night? Or is it giant orange men smashing Paul Pelosi in the head with a ball-peen hammer? Is that what was going? This is just shades of his Philadelphia speech where democracy is a threat, which is why you have to leave the old man in charge, spend all the money, and take more authoritarian control over your daily life.